Hello, I have been tagged by RetroGamerVX, whose name it turns out is Steve, which completely freaks me out, because how can anyone possibly have the same name as me? Yes, it's a video game weirdness tag. He's asked 4 questions. If it's 5, I've missed 1, so anyway. I'm not going to ask them in the order, or answer them in the order that he's asked them, for reasons that shall remain completely pointless. Okay, I'll start here with question 2, because obviously I wouldn't want to start with question 1, would I? What's the longest time I've spent fixing a PC non-stop? That would be, some of you, those of you who subscribe to my other channel, Benway's World. Did you see what I did there? I'm plugging my own channels. Yes, go check that one out. Those of you who subscribe to my other channel will probably know that my main PC broke recently. More than that, most people aren't really aware. Anyway, my hard drive died. I had some other issues, and so anyway, it is an Advent T9-101. My solution to fix it was install a new hard drive, and I messed around with the graphics card a bit. So, new hard drive was put in, and I got the manufacturer's, what do you call it? The disc. It's not like the Windows disc. It's the restore disc. That's what they call it, which has Windows and all your drivers and everything on it. So you just click away, and it does everything for you. Only it didn't. I installed it, everything went exactly how it should do. I booted up and it said, can't find system disk, please install system disk. It didn't want to work. I thought, duh. And I messed around for several hours trying to make it work. Reinstalled again, you know, reformat, reinstalled, did the whole thing again, same thing, refused to boot. Andrea was talking to some people about this on one of the forums she goes on, and they said check the hard drive size, because some computers they will only accept a hard drive up to a certain size. So I thought, okay, that might be it, because I had stuck in a bigger hard drive than it originally had. So I got Linux Mint 8 and used that. I put that on, made it dual boot, split the partition in 2, and made the Windows partition, brought it back down to the size of the original drive that had been in it, and hey, presto, it worked. So I've now got a dual boot PC again, Windows and Linux, which I like. I didn't need the Linux because I've got a dedicated Linux machine in the other room, which I edit this video on when it doesn't crash. Yeah, Kdenlive is proving unreliable. Anyway, straying from the point completely. So that got working, and I was installing everything that I had lost, you know, all the software I needed, and then I found that I had no sound. I hadn't noticed initially. Sound was working just fine on Linux, but on Windows I had nothing, and that confused me. What it did tell me though was that the hardware was working. There was no problem with the hardware for sound. So I went through all the things you could do, looking at the drivers, looking at... It wasn't even recognizing the hardware. It was calling it some generic thing. I don't remember exactly what. When I knew it wasn't some generic thing, like C97 blah blah, it's like a variation on a Yamaha chipset thing. Anyway, after much messing around, I found a mention on a forum of the tech guys. It's basically what was Dixon's, their site, the technical people who configured the Advent T9-101, which I think is like a rebranded MSI thing. Anyway, they had the software drivers, and I downloaded them and installed them, and it works. Basically what it amounts to is when they did the restore disk for this particular computer, they forgot to put the sound drivers on it. Great, clever, thanks guys! So I wasted about 6 or 8 hours doing that. If you are a T9101 owner who's come to this by chance trying to find out why their sound doesn't work since they've reinstalled, I will put a link in the sidebar to the page where you can get the sound drivers. Trust me, install that, it will work. So, that's the first question. No, that's the second question. I haven't done the first one yet. I'm doing the first one last. Go figure. Has any game ever given me nightmares? No, but I have had dreams based around games. My dreams, I dream about several things. I either dream I've gone back to school because my education I didn't do as good as I should have, and so I sometimes dream I've gone back to finish off what I should have done. Other ones I dream I'm back at work, somewhere I used to work quite a few years ago. That just in my subconscious represents work. So I have those dreams on a fairly regular basis, and then they're kind of like science fiction dreams. We're being invaded by aliens, we're at war, something or other, I've got a sniper rifle, or a machine gun, or a laser gun, or something. And it's like Battlefield 1943, or, you know, Call of Duty, something like that. It's just romping around, no storyline, shooting at people. Generally the people I shoot at don't die, it's like I'm firing blanks or something, which is potentially disturbing. Yeah. And they're quite... There is this feeling of desperation, like, why won't they die? They're going to kill me. I'm shooting at them and they can see me and they're aiming their gun and I'm shooting at them and it's not doing anything. So yeah, I suppose that's the nearest thing. I wouldn't call it a nightmare because they can be quite exciting. Have I ever played a game that was just too scary to play? No. I have... There are two games that I find a little bit disturbing. Mental Block, Thingy, God. Half-Life 2, I find certain sections of that game quite disturbing. The whole thing is fairly dark and sinister, and obviously it's meant to be. But never scary, never anything where I would stop playing it. Fear. I played Fear. I was expecting to be scared. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of this game will scare you rigid. It didn't. But there were bits of it that were quite... They had an effect, you know, that they were like, whoa, but nothing extreme, not nearly as scary as I've been led to believe by the magazines and the online reviews and blah blah. But no, nothing that's ever scared me so much that I'd stop playing it. Okay then, the first question, strangest place I've ever played a game. Okay, the strangest place I've ever been where a video game was being played, and it was mine, it was my console, was in a... Technically it was a TV studio, though in reality it was a squalid little office in an office building in Birmingham. And I will link to the video where this appears. This was for Channel 5, their Gadget Show, and it was, what's his name, Jason Bradbury, was playing my Atari 2600 Heavy Sixer for one of their shows. Yes, I've said I'll link to that. So I was sitting there in the room. My 2600 Heavy Sixer has been on TV. I didn't get to play, I didn't get to go on the show, anything like that, but I was in the room and that was quite cool. Jason Bradbury's an interesting character, which is being polite about it. Strangest place I've played a game. Okay, the place itself wasn't that weird, it was what happened afterwards that was weird. This was in the waiting room of the eye surgery of Stoke Mandeville Hospital. I was playing Pac-Man on a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I was trying to distract myself from the absolute terror that I was feeling, knowing what was coming in a few minutes. I had iritis. Severe iritis. The iris of, I think it was my right eye, had fused to the lens. This is very dangerous, can cause blindness if it's not treated. All kinds of nasty crap can go on with that. So I had to have an injection right into the eye. They'd done everything else, so it was a case of they hold you down basically. They hold your head steady so you can't move. They hold your eye open so you can't blink. You look up, they put drops in, numb it and everything, and then they stick a bloody great big needle into the white bit. So you never actually see the needle, thank God. And they don't stick it in that way. It doesn't go into the fluid. It goes into the surface sort of skin white bit, and it probably goes in about ½ an inch or something sideways. And injected it with a load of atropine, which is a muscle relaxant. Scared the crap out of me. Really, really one of the totally, utterly, most horrendously horrible, unpleasant experiences of my life. There you go. Haven't decided who I'm going to tag yet. I'll put some names in the side, but I keep pointing that side. It's on that side, isn't it?